Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So there's a lot to unpack here. I won't try to unpack it all. I really will try to be as brief as possible. At the heart of it, what we're dealing with is we're stuck together. We're stuck together. That's the way the charter frames it. That's what the voters have decided. We're stuck together. And as much as you might not prefer my style or my presentation or my results, I may not prefer yours, right? I may want to select the mayor. Maybe that's my preference, right? But I don't get to, because the charter and all of our other rules have outlined how this all works. There are a lot of things that have been said tonight that I agree with, that you have all said. There are some things that I disagree with. But the reality is we're stuck together. When you're looking to resolve a conflict between the two provisions that we've been commonly citing or frequently citing in the charter, the Court of Appeal already resolved those conflicts, apparent conflicts, and you may not like the result, but this is a 3-judge Court of Appeal panel. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. And we've abided by, as the city, Court of Appeal decisions in the past. And so the Court of Appeal said the city attorney is the department head. The city's legal business, only one legal voice in the city attorney. The city council may hire other attorneys to help the city attorney discharge her official duties, but may not relieve her of such duties. Any such attorneys hired by the city council are under the city attorney's supervision and have no authority to give opinions or act independently. When you want a second opinion, you're suggesting you want somebody to act independently. Mayor, you started your comments by saying that I am to take direction from the board or the council, and that there were many instances where I have not executed on your direction. Let me be abundantly clear to the council and to the public watching. I take direction from you on decisions pertaining to lawsuits, whether it's to file or not file, appeal or not appeal, settle or not settle, for how much do we settle. I have always, and I will underscore, always faithfully executed that direction. I have. Now, when you and I alone are in a hallway and you're like, I'd like to see if we could get some other legal counsel, that's not direction from the city council. I take direction pursuant to a vote. And former Mayor Carr actually described our relationship perfectly. The only thing I would add to that, Councilmember Carr, is, and there's a ton to unpack here, I'm going to try to be brief. My duty is to the city, which is the corporation. The board, like the corporation, is you, the council. I take direction from you as the spokesperson or the voice or even the decision makers for the corporation, right? The only caveat is when you, in essence, and this goes along with what I was saying in my letter and what the other attorney said in his letter, is when you, by this H item, decide to then violate the law, you're running afield of your fiduciary duty to the corporation. I don't go with you. I don't go with you. I cannot violate the law, and I couldn't do that in private practice. If I had a witness who's going to go up on the stand, he leaned over and said, "Hey, I'm about to go lie up on the stand." I'd have to be, stop, Your Honor, sidebar. I can't suborn perjury. I can't allow my client to support perjury. If I had a client who was about to go out and commit a crime, I couldn't aid and abet or participate in a crime. It's a similar thing. So I 100% have always faithfully executed my duties as the city's lawyer, Mayor, on every single direction, every single vote that you have taken. I have never wavered. I have faithfully executed. So that is really the key. And when you say, well, we want a second opinion because we don't like what we're getting, look, I'll read something for you, and it may be surprising to you, it may not be, and while I'm not going to get into any attorney-client conversations that we've had in closed session, and I didn't in the letter, we know from public records, I can put it that way, that in addition to the expertise offered by the 8 attorneys in my office, we also know over the past 7 years, I have retained tons of legal counsel to give us additional counsel, to give us second opinions. Mayor, you even said it yourself. I'd like a second opinion at times. I like the expertise. And then you turned around and said, yeah, and there's been a bunch of times where you've hired outside lawyers. So I feel like there's something going on here that's not really being spoken. I've hired Prop 218 legal experts, state redevelopment legal experts, appellate law experts, HR, labor, human and human resources law experts, police practices experts, legal experts, property rights and inverse commendation legal experts, bond attorneys, housing law experts. The list goes on and on. We should not be having this discussion out here. This should be a discussion that we have in closed session when counsel says, you know, Gates, I think we need some more legal advice, right? And predating some of you, we have had those types of conversations. There have been things that have been tabled or put off, and you know we need to come back with some more analysis. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. That's the kind of thing that you should be, you know, coming to me at the closed session table and asking for. I've never denied such a request from counsel. Ever. So when you say, well, we can find some compromise, there's got to be an arrangement. The arrangement is, hey, folks, let's go into closed session. Let's talk about a case. We present our briefs to you. We present our analysis to you. We talk about it. And if you want more, ask for more, and I'll get it for you. I have literally bent over backwards to try to give this council, in terms of good customer service, every single thing that they have asked for. And let me tell you something. Outside counsel is not the answer to everything. The Kennedy Commission was dead in the water at the first round of legal battles. Do you remember what happened with the Kennedy Commission? It was with outside counsel at the request of City Council. Colin Tuno and Associates represented the city in the first round. We in the City Attorney's Office snatched that case from the jaws of defeat by bringing it in-house and doing all the appellate work. That's when we started winning. And in terms of my recusal at the time, and you guys are making a policy decision, look, the city attorney's here to answer questions, but it's up to you guys to decide on policy. And when I recused myself, I had our municipal law land use expert chief city attorney sitting in my stead available to you, and I don't know if he ever got any questions from you. So I don't want to sit here and relitigate history. Okay. But there is a response to all this stuff, and there's only half the story being presented tonight. There's a whole other host of issues. The senior center is another case, Mayor, where it had been in litigation for 10 years. You know, after I took office, I took it over.
Mayor Delgleize, we're getting, I think, well past.
Okay, I know. I was just going to let him finish his thought, and then we were going to move on.
Thank you. I brought it in-house and got that thing resolved in a couple months, and then it opened.
Right.
What you're proposing tonight, it is illegal. It's illegal on the face of the charter, and I understand, but there's this other provision. The Court of Appeal already answered the question.
Well, let's do this, Michael, because I think all of us are in a place where we would like to make this work, and I believe that you do too.
Look, I want to stress one more thing. I want to do the absolute best legal job for the city I could possibly do. I lay awake at night stressing and worrying about cases.
We all do.
Okay, but I do too.
Yeah.
And my goal is to provide the absolute best legal representation. This whole thing about, you're out on social media and the response letter and stuff like that. Look, don't bring fights to me publicly, because I am an elected official and my constituents expect me, Where's Gates on this? Where's Gates on this? Don't fight with me publicly.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Just don't do it. But the H item is a public fight. We could have had this discussion in closed session.
Yes, and I think the mistake here is that many of the comments on social media is your way of letting us know how you feel.
Look,
So
let me one more fine point.
Is
I'm
it?
gonna put a fine point on this. The public's got to know this. You guys decide what fights to fight. I never speak publicly about policy. You don't believe me?
I'm just smiling because
Look for anything out there on policy, anything, and you won't find it.
Okay.
I'll a steak dinner. I'll get you a steak dinner if you can find anything that
You've
I've
said
ever
that in
said out there
public
on
now.
policy.
I've got you in public saying that.
Well,
What I'd like
I'm
to
ready-
see happen
I'm ready
is
for my
create a
steak.
meeting and we can resolve this. Have a seat. I'd like to see if there's anybody else on the council. Any comments to close? Yes, go ahead, Ms. Bowles.